Hello friends! Oh my gosh, I'm losing my voice a little bit. But hello. Today I am going to be sharing a kind of different video with you. I am going to be talking about how to get a summer job as a student. I mentioned about doing this in a past video and someone said they'd be interested in seeing it, so I thought I would share my tips and tricks. I am fairly organized when it comes to the job application, and I have been very successful in the past years getting summer jobs, so I thought I would share my tips and tricks with you because this is my last summer as a student, so hopefully this is helpful. So normally when I film a video along this with advice, I would write out tips and tricks, but this has been such a hot topic between me and my friends because all of my friends are either looking for summer jobs or full-time jobs because they're graduating. So I feel like I am prepared to talk about this and I'm excited to share it. I thought I would first start off by telling you my work experience just so you get a better understanding of who I am as a worker and what type of positions I have got. So I have worked the weirdest variety of jobs, if I'm being honest. Starting in grade 9 when I was 13, I got hired at a pizzeria through reference of a friend, and I worked there for 3 years, all through high school. In between my first and second year when I came home for the summer, I worked at a local library as a children's programmer, and I adored this job. This was so much fun. Next summer I came home and I worked as a print production specialist is probably what I would use to word it. I am in a printing program at Ryerson University, so this is great because it was an industry job. I didn't honestly love the work I was doing, but it was great industry experience. And then when I went back to Ryerson in the fall, honestly, my hours at the print shop in the summer had ended up being part-time by the end of summer, and your girl needed money. So I went on the mad hunt of finding a job during the school year, and I wasn't expecting it, but I ended up getting hired at Sephora seasonally. Liked me enough to keep me on as a core cast member, so I have been with Sephora now for about 1.5 years. I love it. And then this past summer, I got an internship working as a marketing and communications intern for a mobility company, and with them I got a paid internship, which was mandatory in my program, so it was great because it met that requirement. It got me industry experience and I got paid. So I am now currently working there as well as Sephora, so I have a lot on my plate. I've had a lot of interviews, I've applied to a ton of jobs. I feel like I'm fairly qualified to at least share my tips and tricks because we all want summer jobs. So anyway, now that I've covered that, let's start talking about how you can get a job. Okay, so the first thing that leads you towards getting a job is a resume. You have to have a killer resume. That's just part of the process. If you're unsure of writing resumes, there's so many templates online. That's honestly where I did it. Also, if you know anyone who's a professional in either HR or does any hiring, it's so great to have them look over your resume and give you some feedback. I've done that for years. My resume has had a major glow up. I'll show you what the first one looked like. And my updated resume looks like this. It is very different because I am looking for more design and creative jobs, so I do have a more design and creative based resume. You don't have to do that. Just have something that's clean, easy to read, and stick to one page if possible. I have a lot thrown on there and it's super detailed, but it all fits on one page. Also, if you don't have work experience, that's fine. If you have volunteer experience, if you have team experience, things of those sorts, anything that shows that you could be a good employee, great to include. If you do have work experience, even better. Make sure to include references. References should be professionals. So if you haven't had a past job, maybe a teacher or someone in your community who you've worked with volunteering, or just someone who would represent you well. So now I'm going to talk about the application process, and my #1 tip for this is apply early. It is honestly never too early to start applying for jobs. I have already applied to probably 15 jobs and it's just the end of February. Along with that, apply to everything and anything. That's my tip. I know some people are looking for specifics. I'm not very picky when I'm applying. I may be a little pickier with my job selection, but I really just want to get my foot in the door and apply to everything possible. Especially student-based stuff is great because your competition is still high but lower than the rest of the world. I come from a very small town, so I apply to things I am not qualified for, anything in surrounding neighborhoods, anything. Great employers are your province or state. Look for federal jobs, look for jobs by your township, by your region, anything of those sort. great to apply for. They normally have a ton of student jobs and there's a lot to apply for. The issue with it is you have to apply early. I'm posting this video as early as I can because a lot of jobs I've already applied for have closed. You want to be able to submit a stellar cover letter with your resume. What I do is I make like 5 or 6 variations of my cover letter, and then I take different paragraphs depending on the job description and plug it in and change the name of the person I'm applying to. I have a pretty basic template and I just change its specifics. It always explains my past work experience, what I think makes me a good employee, and I also normally talk about some feedback that I've gotten from past employers. When you're applying, you also want to make sure that you've let your references know that you are applying for jobs, because you don't want them to get a call and then be like, who's Katie Campbell? She didn't tell me about this. I'm caught off guard. So with your application process, what I've started doing, and I find this so helpful, especially to jobs where you just have to send an email, I've created an Excel template sharing the company I applied for, who the contact was, what their contact information was, the date I applied, any notes about the application, and the link to the posting. I find this so helpful because if I'm curious about what job I applied for or if I've heard back from them, I can just go to my template and I see how many people I've applied for, who they are, and also the date I applied and the date the job closed. It's just a really simple spot to keep all of the information, and now it's great because a lot of the jobs I applied for, the posting is closed, but I'm able to open up the link still because there's a PDF connected to it, and I can still see the posting without it being public. I started doing this last year when I was hunting for an internship, and it was so helpful. Along with, as I say, apply to everything, I mean everything. I normally in the summer apply to at least 30 jobs. I applied to a lot of internships last year and I only heard back from 2 places, and I applied to over 50 places. And one of the places said no, and one offered me an interview and I got the interview. So when I mean apply, I mean apply. I would also say when you do an interview, be sure to have a couple questions prepared. Just asking about the company, asking interest in the person themselves. It shows that you have taken time to prepare for this interview and you're excited about it. The last piece of advice I have is one that I feel like a lot of people forget to do, but is honestly really good and sets you fairly apart from other candidates, is after you finish an interview, send a thank you letter to the people who interviewed you. Just send them a quick email saying, thank you so much for meeting with me. I really enjoyed your time. I look forward to hearing about possible good career endeavors with you. Something along those lines, something short, something sweet, but just to say thank you and you appreciated their time. When I applied for my last job, my internship, apparently I was the only person that did this. It really set me apart from other candidates. It's something that's super fast and easy, but I think it makes a really big difference. Anyway, that's all the tips and tricks I have to land you a summer job this year. Good luck with your applications. So exciting. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know down below. I'm sure there's a couple things I've missed, but this is such an exciting time, and I hope you find a job you love, or at least something that pays the bills. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful at all, I would love if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you're looking for more university and college related content, I have a lot coming soon, so be sure to follow along. I'm excited to share my plans for the future with you and my everyday life. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next time. Bye.